Hello everybody, I'm Wolfgang from Assault Games. Today I want to share a new format which I started after I had thought about longer. I call it the After Action Report, and I want to perform this probably in future depending on the feedback. So I generated an After Action Report after the last game with my friend Michael, and yeah, we just jump in and I will explain how this game was and the highlights and then a short conclusion. Yeah, stay tuned. We will switch and then we start over. Okay, after action report. Assault Sicily 43 Gela Beachhead. And we made this on Wednesday this week. Yes, on Wednesday, Michael joined in and we made this game. Okay, mission briefing. We generated a random meeting engagement. So I just thought we want to play in urban area. So yeah, I put on the table these map tiles. So these are two map tiles, one full and one half scale. The task was to capture the town center. We played it with the Sicily sample, the latest sample we have. Be aware, all the artwork is not final. We are still working on really cool artwork, or what to say, to refine this artwork. But now we played with the sample I got from our new manufacturer. Then it is the town center of Gela in Sicily. It's the 10th of July and German Wehrmacht fights versus US Army. So I played the US Army and Michael played the Wehrmacht. Yeah, formations we had, Michael, we had both drawn it randomly. So Michael drawn 1st Fallschirm Panzer Division Hermann Göring, the motorized rifle platoon, and I got from the 1st Infantry Division an infantry support platoon with a veteran experience level. So both interesting. Michael was arguing, oh, what shall I do with trucks for this mission? It's an urban area, and yeah. But you will see later on it pays out. We placed an objective marker in the middle of this place in the city or in the town, and we defined, of course, the same distance setup areas. Yeah, what was my plan? So I was thinking about two forces. So one main force, the tech force, with a support element, the Cal 50 and the mortar, and of course some smaller support force with the Cal 30 and the sniper. Would be a good idea, I think, to bring it on the higher level of elevation with the church or with the building here. Here the multiple story building, which has an elevation level of 2, beside all the smaller buildings with brown, say, are level 1. So this was my idea, to make it divide my forces. My plan was, of course, to bring it here, bring my main force with the infantry here to these buildings as a waypoint. This is a huge multi-story building which gives very good cover, and then jump on the objective. The task for the mission was for both, or the target was who is capturing or possessing the objective hex at the end of the turn 8 wins the game. So I thought about making a pause here, and on the last turn I will jump on it. My support squad was the plan to gain higher ground and to make flank fire, which depends, of course, of Michael's plan. So I assumed at that time that Michael will push the center, so therefore he placed 2 trucks with infantry and one infantry in the middle going straight. I assumed, so it was my idea of maneuver, and of course his heavy machine gun to bring it on the elevation 2 building here, and I thought he will drive through very quick to gain ground to get into this building. Yeah, let's see if I was on the right assumption. So Michael was now, or the first turn was over, and we had both the possibility to gain ground. I was, of course, slower, and Michael sees now his advantage of the trucks. He could drive really quickly through the roads in front and gain the ground beside to the objective area. Yeah, bad luck for me. I had no trucks. My soldiers had to run. So here is now a good outgoing position waiting for me, and yeah, for the last turn to jump onto these objective hacks. So the turn 2 has ended, and of course I pushed my troops more into the area to get an outgoing position here for jumping on the hex in the last turn. This multi-story building is a level 2, so my infantry behind is a good covered. The line of sight of a starting with 2 hex large building is blocked, so these big buildings block the line of sight. So I thought it's a good outgoing position for storming the objective, and therefore I started fire with my Cal 50 and Cal 30 to weaken his units here. I got 1 damage on this unit, luckily, but these buildings have a really good position to cover units. Michael started to dig in his unit, so this is simulating they are using everything they find to barricade themselves into the building to get more cover. And on the organization phase, the yellow marker got flipped to the green side, which simulates 1 more defense bonus for this area. This will be a tough nut to crack, of course, to get get some damage on these units. We will see what happens. Of course, Michael, as I thought about, he will bring in his machine gun to this building. He moved up a 3rd squad here to, I think, possible try to get into my flank. And of course, these rifles, he was not driving forward quickly because I have now 1 unit into this building, so he decided to jump off the truck and go over the better cover, probably to here. Yeah, the support phase of the 3rd turn brought some surprise. We played with the command card, which is an optional rule. We had a command card deck built up in front of the game, and therefore Michael had on his hand, so you draw 3 cards a turn, and you can play, of course, your cards during 1 turn and then redraw in the organization phase, and in the planning phase. And Michael had luck, and he brought 1 surprise to my rifles in that squad. And you see here he had drawn on the right side the card which is called Goliath, and the Goliath he can use in support phase, and you need an infantry unit to play this card out. And you can see from the text, therefore you can go with the Goliath, and he used his grenadiers to move his Goliath up to the building behind the corner. Really nice feature. And the Goliath from the historical side was called a leichter Ladungsträger, and he was able to put 60 to 100 kilogram explosives to your enemy. So nice surprise. I like this feature, but at that moment and somehow I was Michael rolled, of course, as a result for the Goliath 2 hits, and you see it on the effect chart here that the building was collapsing. Therefore I had to place a ruins marker on it, which changes, of course, the terror behavior, but my units also gained 1 damage. Not so bad, could have been even worse, but okay. Nice feature, this card. Congratulations, Michael, for this cheap hit on my unit. Yeah, turn 3 was of course then starting after the support phase, and yeah, it was like expected. Michael was in a very good cover now, dug in with its units, which gave of course every unit here additional cover. So green die extra to a tremendous high terra defense of the buildings. I was of course firing with everything I had to deal damage and weaken them or to suppress them, but they had a good moral and a good defense role with Michael. My sniper squad was also firing, so yeah, Michael had managed to move up his heavy machine gun here above. I was moving my second squad forward, placing it beside my squad, and then yeah, the question is what to do. We have here a 1-to-1 situation. Michael is Michael is an advantage in a better situation. He has now 2 grenadiers here, 1 rifles here, which I think will start over here next turn, and he has of course a heavy machine gun on my flank. So you see Michael has close to 3.5-to-1 or 4-to-1 situation here in the center. Bad for an attacker. We will see how this works out. Turn 4, I decided to move up my mortar here to get up a better line of sight for shelling with indirect fire. Then of course I repeated my fire options, or I continued fire to the units. Michael tried to make joint fire, which means you combine the fire of 2 units on my machine gun, which was jumping over the road from the church to the building to get a better get up a better efficient fire because of the shorter range. Yeah, his infantry down below was moving forward using the cover of the buildings. Now it's getting really close, and as I have seen it, he moved his infantry unit to the neighborhood of one of my squads, which was going forward with a hide action. Hide action is a good thing if you want to make a low crawl or move cautiously forward. The enemy can spot you a little bit harder, and of course you get more defense. Yeah, additional to that, I dug in my unit here, doing the same as Michael, but this corner of the multiple story building is a cover for my unit, so Michael has no line of sight to this unit, so I dug it in to see what happens till the last turn. Yeah, at the last, his tank hunters of course went down here ready to jump into the center. I would say at that point I had known normally it makes no sense to attack here without heavy weapons or airstrikes, but we both had bad luck so far with the command cards, drawing them every turn. No airplane was reachable or available now. Let's see, we have still some turn. Yeah, the 5th turn brought the first loss for my troops. I had lost my sniper squad after they have done joint fire together with the Carl 30 to get a hit on the grenadiers here. The advantage of a sniper team is of course in the game they cannot be spotted automatically because they are hidden. But if they are fire, then you see the unit automatic. So that was a problem for my squad. Michael dealt damage, and it's only a 2-step unit, so they got a total loss with 4 points now. And that weakens my right flank here, and which Michael is approaching with 1 rifle squad. Nevertheless, I started shelling with my mortar and my Carl 50, but had no success to deal damage. It's the same to Michael, but on the upper side here, my rifle squad dealt damage to one of his rifle squads, and their morale was broken. They had to fall back, so this opens up possibilities probably, but of course a heavy machine gun makes trouble here on my right flank. Turn 6 was quite funny. I decided to wait till the last turn because the player who gains that objective at the last turn will win. And if I will drive my troops forward, I have really trouble here with the machine gun, and of course with this really in a good position being infantry. So I decided to wait till the last turn and then jump on the objective hex. Therefore I made a pause, and Michael said, "Hey, you should attack. I wait for you," and he said pause T because he do not wanted to waste activations. So therefore I paused the third time in a row, and the rule says then the turn is over. So we have skipped this turn more or less. Seventh turn, same procedure. Michael had the initiative. He started firing with his machine gun without success here, and I made a pause again to drive him to the turn 8. He said, if I do something, I waste an activation with less possibility to hit, probability to hit his unit. So he said pause, and I paused the third time, and the seventh turn was over. Michael shouted me coward, but I think you can imagine it's not a 1-to-1. It's now more favorable for Michael's position if I proceed with my advance here. So the 8th turn began, and this I will focus with more detail. So I mentioned it, turn 8, phase 1. Michael was of course starting, and he said he must set me under pressure, said I have to do something, and moved his truck forward into the center here, because a truck can of course gain this objective, and the objective marker is flipped to an faction side and the end of the organization phase. So he has to stay with a unit not engaged somehow and in good order till the end of the phase. And the cheapest unit he has is the truck. So he moved it on, and so therefore I had to do something, because otherwise I will lose this game. And I thought, how to surprise Michael and how to get rid of reaction fire possibilities, and therefore how to get Michael so far as he activates his units. So I decided to sacrifice my Kyle 30 and move it fast forward into the target hex via this urban alley here. And of course Michael did start to make reaction fire with one of his unit, and it ended therefore that my unit was locked stunned one hex beside the objective, so they got broken somehow and searching for cover, so they are suppressed and out for this turn. The next action was then I tried to went with my second with my first rifle squad here down into the objective hex by using the urban alley, which costs 1 movement point and a second to the objective. He was firing again with his machine gun, and luckily he drew damage, and of course he suppressed my unit. They are fixed on the bottom on the road and searching for cover. Bad luck again. Good luck for Michael. Nevertheless, I had my second unit from here and pushed them with a last attempt to the objective. Michael made reaction fire with his last not activated unit. Therefore, he had bad luck in rolling and dealt no damage. So my unit went into the objective hex and went into close combat with the crew of the truck. So which has 2 guys with less combat values, of course. And I blasted this truck. So Michael's first loss was the truck exploding in the middle of the area here in the city. And I I had a strange feeling, because why is Michael making reaction fire with this unit here when it is the last he can push into the objective? And surprise, surprise, Michael had a command card called Heroism on his hand. Therefore, he could activate his infantry unit a second time without paying a command point. So he had a chance to reactivate this, and he did, of course, and brought this unit as a last action of the turn 8 into the objective hex. We did 2 times. We had 2 close combat rounds to roll. First round, second round, he halved my unit. And after the last round, of course, he gained the victory. He eliminated my squad by the loss of 50% of his squad. And yeah, therefore I had to admit, congratulations, Michaels. You did a great job in waiting for my infantry. And of course, it was a really funny game. Last turn draws the decision. And yeah, as a conclusion, I would say it's playtime. It was 1 hour. That's a good thing. So the game is quick playable, and it was fun enough. If I want to think about what was the reason, I can imagine the trucks. Michael had a real advantage here for this card, driving into the city center, putting out infantry into the best cover position. And yeah, that was, of course, from a time perspective, a real advantage he had. But that is the luck if you draw randomly your formation cards. Then he had, of course, best cover, multi-story buildings, and he was dug in. So hard nut. You have seen close to no damage I could bring in without heavy weapons. He used the joint fire often, which gave him an advantage because he has 2 of his units adjacent and can use this mode. I would say I a little bit planned with my tactical air, and I think Michael too, but we both had not drawn this card. Could have been a game changer somehow, I don't know. And probably was a fault to divide my troops from the beginning. Next time, I think I would put them all into the center and see what comes out. But nevertheless, it was a really cool game. I had really fun. We talked a lot besides the game, of course. We found, again, some minor things for future ideas. So the evening was quite relaxing and cool. And we will make a next game, of course. So, yeah. I can say thank you, Michael, for playing with me again. And yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this after action report. If you liked it, just leave me a comment and I will bring up in future new things. So let me say bye-bye and until the next time. See you.